Hi, everybody. Have you ever felt like you really wanted to try making art, but you didn't know what to do or where to start? Well, I'm your host, Hershey Petty, and this is Time for Art. If you're joining us for the first time, we'd like to remind you that the theme for the month of June 2022 is tranquility. And today we're going to be learning how to draw and paint a very, very cool bamboo painting. This is a painting you could put up in your bathroom or in your office or anywhere else you want people to feel tranquil. And if you're joining us live, then please don't forget to interact with us in the comment section on our Facebook Live page, where that's where you'll ask your questions. That's where we'll be able to we'll be able to see who's there and say hi to each other and whatnot. So please don't forget to interact with us that way. And if you're not joining us live, then you should think about checking us out every Mondays and Wednesdays, where we do a live stream where you get to interact with a real artist live, and ask any questions you want and learn skills that have been made easily digestible, like painting skills that have been broken down into bite-sized pieces so that you can understand exactly how to make this painting and then take that skill with you through your art journey. So before we introduce our artists, I want to talk a little bit about tranquility. I looked it up, and online there's not a lot about it. The quotes out there are a little bit vague and whatnot. And so I want to talk about what tranquility means to me. And for me, it's a state of calmness and quiet, and it's also something that is long lasting and sturdy. That for me is tranquil, something that stays, So when you're thinking about the last painting of the month this month and what you might do, think about what tranquility might mean to you, because it's different for every person. So that's all I want to say about tranquility. Because if you don't know anything about tranquility and where it's at, you're not going to get any help from the internet. So anyways, without further ado, let's invite in our resident artist, Allison Crary, and say,
hello.
Everyone say Al. Hi, Al.
Hi, Hershey. And yeah, sorry about the internet. It lets us down sometimes.
I mean, for real.
What's up with that? It's a disappointment.
No.
So we're going to paint bamboo today. And I liked that you said stable, because I feel like bamboo is both stable in actuality and in sustainability. So I think that's really kind of the link here, the bridge. And so, yeah, so this is this is the painting. I did not do it that I based our template on. So we're going to work with this template. We're going to have our journals out. We're going to use these three colors: our deep green, our medium yellow, and our violet. We're going to use our palettes, and we're going to use our white. And I cut this down a little bit just so that it was easy to put on the page. So if you want to rip off some of the margins that were in there, that will work. And got our labels out. And so if you've never done this before, you're going to hinge your template to your book, just like this, and tuck in transfer paper. We are using the dark transfer paper. It is the shiny, glossy, waxy side down, and tuck that right in.
And speaking of sustainability, if this is not your first month with Time for Art, you've got usable graphite paper somewhere in your home for sure.
And that's what I'm using. I have one that I cut in half. I like to use that for these demos. And then we are going to light touch, because this is kind of a more watercolor technique. And so we're going to have some transparent layers here.
Al, as everyone starts to draw or trace in their bamboo using their template and their graphite paper, I want to say, Al, a couple times you've shown us how to use acrylic paints to make the watercolor effect. And yeah. I just have to say that makes acrylic painting to me like head and shoulders above the rest.
Well, it's, there's so many good mediums out there, but acrylic paint is certainly versatile in that scenario.
Yes.
And you can also paint it on a lot of different surfaces, like how we do it in our sketchbooks, as well as our canvas panel. And acrylic paint doesn't really need to be protected. which is
ooh, what does that mean? You mean like it doesn't?
Well, it doesn't have to be behind glass.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So watercolor always needs to be protected because if you cough on it,
I didn't even think of that. And I bought the cheapest frames ever for the art that I made that I hung on my walls, and some of them don't have like colors, and I'm so glad they're in acrylic now.
Exactly. Yeah, and actually, some people make the argument that you shouldn't protect acrylic paint or really oil paint because that just adds glare.
Okay.
And so actually you're better off with what you've got because you're looking right at the art, not behind somewhere. So
is
all right. Speaking of glare, I'm kind of using that to tell where I've been.
Oh, because you're using a pencil?
So I'm using a pencil. And you can kind of pick up on the glare.
And so when you started to draw, you said, are you doing all of the lines from this template in a light way or just some of them?
I'm, in this instance, catching them all, not to an over precise point.
Yes.
This isn't, on this one, there aren't too many lines. It's pretty much just the contours. And so I don't think
you know what?
I'll
start to interrupt you. We had a great question coming from the comments section, and it was from Caroline Flanagan. And just to clarify, yes, we are working in our art journals today. And Allison seems to believe, and I've never been able to do with the brushes what she does, but she seems to believe you're only going to need your 2 smaller brushes today.
You're only going to need your 2 smaller brushes today.
And you won't need your gray.
You won't need your Payne's gray.
That's right.
And this is going to be a more watercolor technique. So absolutely, yes. If we didn't say that, because we probably didn't, thank you, Carolyn.
And you're going to need a lot of water.
You're going to need a lot of water.
I'll be right back. I lost my drop, I think.
Did you start throwing stuff again, Hershey?
Yeah.
Looks like I got those. Just checking. And by all means, take your time, but we're going to be painting over this.
You know, I also want to say really quick, so good to see Caroline Flanagan back in the house.
Yes, I got to see her.
Welcome home, Flanagan.
She was in Chicago this weekend, and I got to see her, and it was really, really, really great.
Oh, you got to see her. That is cool.
I did. It was amazing. All right. So we have, for this one, I always usually say keep it hinged. You don't really need to in this instance because, well, we're not going to completely bring our drawing to a level of opacity. And so you're going to see your lines pretty much the whole time. So I'm going to go ahead and move it. You can keep it there.
That's the watercolor technique you were talking about.
Or the watercolor technique. And another thing with watercolor, where I traditionally like to put in my darks first, in this instance, we're actually going to put in our lights first because it's this more transparent technique where you build it up. And so in this instance, our bamboo is sort of at base layer beneath everything else yellow, but it's not like our stoplight yellow. It's more of a creamy yellow. And maybe more like our yellow ochre last month. And so we're going to take out our medium yellow, and I'm just going to put some of our violet way over here so it doesn't infect our other stuff a whole lot. And you're going to take your baby brush, which is right here, and the smallest speck of our violet is going to go into our yellow, and these are complementary colors, so they dull each other naturally. And we're going to dull our medium yellow, which is kind of a stoplight yellow, which is awesome because you can do a lot with it. And that's going to be our yellow. And then we're going to take some of our white, put it in the middle. And we're going to take some of this and mix it in with the yellow that we've dulled.
All righty. This is for the cream yellow.
This is for the creamy base yellow. So that's about what I want that to be. And that's just with a little bit of color knowledge. Get you. You just made the right yellow.
Yep. And a little bit of color knowledge is not how I would describe the color knowledge at Time for Art. You get a lot of color knowledge here.
You get all the color knowledge. Okay, and so we're not going to do this if you look kind of carefully at this. The leaves at a base are more of a green, a yellow green, but the bamboo sort of stems, or what's the shoot?
Stalk? Yeah, shoot.
Shoots. The bamboo shoots are this creamy yellow. So we're just going to paint in with your baby brush. We might do the whole thing with the baby brush this time.
Oh, wow.
And don't worry too much about it. Did you see how we see our lines through it?
Yeah.
So a lot of water, but we are going to paint in our bamboo shoots.
Allison, you can't tell because you can't see, but compared to last week, the activity already in the comment section is it's giving me life.
This makes me so happy. What are we hearing?
We're just hearing hello from Crown Point. We're hearing, Caroline was saying she hates when her life interrupts her time for art, and so everyone's. Yeah, lots of gratitude, lots of hellos, and see you like haven't seen you in a minute. So
excellent. So this is kind of our base tone that we're dropping in. And again, watercolor, because it's so transparent, you have to get in your lighter tones first and build up from there. It's a little bit different than how we usually paint, but it's always good to try a different technique. Just like that. Okay. Then we're going to mix our base leaf tone. And that's more this kind of yellow green. Parts of it are kind of this kind of more emerald yellow green. Parts of it are more this olive yellow green, but I want to make them all the same base. And so we're going to start with our medium yellow. Same thing, I'm going to put it way over here so we don't get too much of it, and then put in a speck of our green deep. Mix this up. We can put in a little bit of white just for a little bit of opacity and to make it a little bit creamier. And we're going to paint in our leaves, just like we did our shoots.
Yeah, a little bit of green. Did that stain yellow? Or
yes, just the medium yellow. I did not use anything from the creamy yellow. I took medium yellow, I put in a speck of green and a speck of white. So it's kind of its own thing. And we're going to build up from there. Just like that. And you can see our lines through. And they'll probably be a little bit lesser as we paint, but part of this kind of translucent technique is you sort of see all of the layers. And so we're not afraid of leaving our lines in this instance.
Does watercolor generally take longer to work with since you have to build up the colors?
I mean, it depends. The dry time, because there's so much water on paper, can be kind of a long time. And so the watercolor artists I know have fans going and stuff like that.
Right.
And this isn't watercolor. This is just more of a watercolor technique approach to still acrylic painting.
Right. Tell me Lori out in is that Minnesota? Is Lori Minnesota?
Yeah, Minneapolis. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. I finally got that. Yeah, I do. I messed that up a couple times in the past.
Somebody's
Lori was wondering if you could go over how much water you're using to create the watercolor effect.
Sure. So I've got my paint in this instance just kind of loosened up. And
what does that mean? You put your brush in the water once and then put it back in? Like,
yes, that's about how much we're doing at this point. Yep. And very much that you can see your lines through.
That's the real point, isn't it? To make sure that you don't cover up the lines from the graphite paper.
Right, exactly. And we'll see them at the end too, which is okay. And they're going to be different on everyone's work because we're all doing this a little bit differently. So I got to see Lori this weekend too.
I mean,
it was really, really great.
Chicago feels like the place to be in the summertime. Isn't it in the summertime? Is it Chicago where it's at?
Yeah, there was a show once that was like 100 Days of Summer because that's all we have. And you make it happen in those 100 days. It was one of the Bravo shows. I don't think it lasted too long.
I remember that show. I didn't know that's what it was about because you're right. You don't get very
limited options here.
Yeah.
All right. So we got all this in just like this. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to mix up some of our other greens. So I'm going to take this same kind of green mixture, but we're going to mix it again. We're going to take yellow, medium yellow, a slightly bigger touch of green. And we're going to
the bamboo painting that you have on the left-hand side there.
Yes.
That's something you found online and then you created the template for it. Is that true?
That's exactly it.
And sorry, I didn't interrupt you. I wanted to talk about our template challenge.
Yes. Really quick. I'm just taking this that I mixed and adding a little bit more green to it, just so we have a greener.
You took the green that you made with the yellow.
And green, and I'm adding even more green to that. So it's still a little bit greener than it was.
For those of you, so for those of you who missed Monday, we did not unveil this month's template challenge yet because we actually weren't even sure what we were going to do. We want to kind of keep everyone on their toes. And so this month, if you go through your templates, we'd like for you to tell a story. We want for you to use the templates to tell a story, whatever it may be. It could be maybe you're at the doctor's office and these are what's on the wall because they want you to feel tranquil. Or it could be any story you want. So any story you like, please tell a story using the templates that came with your box this month.
Absolutely. I love it. Okay. And then the next one we're going to do is we're going to take, because not all our colors are created equal, I'm going to go 2 peas worth of yellow and a generous drop, just a drop of our violet.
Lori,
and mix these.
Lori's so funny real quick. She says, do we need to put the in-between one too? And I think she means that little stalk.
Oh, no.
Do we need the in-between one too, she says.
No. No one needs to do anything ever. And so this is kind of our yellow brown color, the one I just made.
Okay.
Because these naturally dull each other. And then I'm going to take this. This is kind of a mustard. And then I'm going to take this and add a
Will you move it over to the left just a tad?
yeah. Here.
She says, no, the color. She's wanting to know about the color, the in-between color.
No, this is just mix up some yellow greens. And then these are the 2 browns we're going to use. One's kind of a mustard. And one is more this kind of taupey brown.
So looking at your palette, it looks like you've got a couple yellow tones and a couple green tones and a couple brown tones.
And our pure tones. And if you look, this is one of the reasons why we like to mix our colors. Don't these seem really sort of commercial and fake, these 2 colors now compared to all these really natural ones that we mix?
Yeah, right. Yep. They look made on an iPad. They look
made on an iPad, right? And so that's why we like to mix our colors, and that's why it's a good thing to know how to do. Okay. And so the first thing we're going to do to build up our color is to take this kind of lightest yellow green, and I'm going to brush that in all the places on the bamboo where I see some green. So right here, right here, right here, right here. Here, just like that.
One sec. Let's. We got Lori's having some color issues, I believe. Let's go over.
Okay.
So she says the color that you added more green to.
This.
Do they need that color?
We're gonna use it later. We don't need it right now.
Okay.
So no need. And we'll mix it again. You know what? When we need this, we'll mix it again. We'll show you how to make it.
Lori, I hope that answered your question. If not, let me know.
Yes. So the whole point of this being interactive is so we can do exactly that. So always, always, always ask those questions. So I've got some of this in here. And right here. Right here.
We got the thumbs up from Lori.
All right. Excellent. So it's kind of our first tone that we're dropping in there. And as you see, we're not really mixing it. We sort of let the yellow dry on underneath, and we're just kind of layering this in, just like that.
Kevin wrote in about reaffirming the question that Lori had about the water and how much water to add.
Yes.
I'm not sure. I think we answered that one, but did we answer that out?
I think so. So it's a really loose sort of wash.
I think what we said was that you want to use enough water to where your paint isn't covering the lines from your graphite paper.
Exactly. So this one that we made, which I'll mix it again, like I just said. So that's some yellow and a bigger drop of green. And we'll see what this gives us. And it's about like that. There we go. That's the same green. So that's what we're going to wash into the darker areas of our leaves. So
and as far as the leaves go, when you're pushing the leaves, is every leaf going to have a light and a dark, or there's some that are full dark? I'm looking at the painting right now. I'm trying to see.
Yeah, some of them are going to be darker than others, but for the most part, they're pretty covered with some variation. And then the darkest areas, we're going to go in with the straight, maybe not the straight green deep, but close to it. We might mess it up.
It looks like in these leaves, the black part doesn't necessarily connotate shadow.
Exactly. It could just be the variation. Hershey, it could just be the local color. So sometimes when artists talk about local color, it's what it is outside of light and shadow. So the local color in this instance has some variation.
You see how I know that?
Another good point. And we still see through it.
Bamboo is intricate.
Bamboo is intricate, but I think this is going to be another one where everybody has a lot of success. Kind of like our Sundays last month. Take a look at those, guys.
Yeah, take a look at the group, how they did on that.
How the group did on the Sundays. Yeah. All right. So I'm just looking, and that's looking good to me. So far there. Then we're gonna go back to our shoots, and we're gonna use this kind of medium mustard brown, yellow. And that's gonna be the first thing we put in to kind of get into some of these areas. So we're catching some of this coloration around here.
It's really interesting to be doing the darks last.
I know, and it's a watercolor technique, and it's good to do something a little bit different.
Sure.
But it's, yeah, it feels a little backwards, right?
Yeah. But you know, for some weird reason, it makes sense.
In this instance, because you see
Yeah.
everything, you have to do it this way. There's not really a way around it. So this is how we are beginning to layer in this kind of brown. And again, I'm not sure this is necessarily shadow. Also could be more sort of local coloration.
Mm-hmm.
Just like this.
This is a real good one to just copy the reference image.
Yeah, we're just kind of, well, it's not going to look exactly the same, but it's a little bit of a different technique. We don't always work this way. Just like this. Around here. Kind of to the inside. We're gonna let that kind of dry for a minute.
Yours is looking real good, Allison. Yeah.
All right, then we're gonna take a little bit of our green deep, put it in a well, a smidge of our violet, put it in a well, just like that.
All right.
Mix these guys up. And then I'm also going to add a speck of our natural brown that we mixed with our complements, just to dirty it up a little bit and make it look more natural.
Do you have any bamboo growing around your neighborhood, Al?
No, but I took bamboo to college with me. I got it as a gift.
Did. That's really cool.
And it was Lucky Bamboo, and it was the kind that curled, that they would like wrap around the thing. And I loved it. And it lasted a while. I couldn't get over how I didn't kill that bamboo for long. It got really big. All right, so this is going to be the color we paint into our darkest areas in our leaves. So Hershey, the template challenge.
Yeah.
We're going to post that's the template challenge. And if anyone wants to share ideas for it.
You know, this isn't the first template challenge or template month. This isn't the first month where the templates all, you know, you could tell a story. Yeah. But as I was flipping through, I felt like there was just such a common thread in all of them. And for me, it was doctor's offices. It was like, I've seen this in a doctor's office. I've seen this in a doctor, you know, separate offices. And I thought it would be cool if everyone told a story that way. Don't steal mine. Mine's going to be doctor's offices.
Hershey's going to be doctor's office. Mine's going to be a spa.
Okay.
But I think doctors, it's interesting you say that, because I think doctors are trying to put you at ease.
Yeah.
And so tranquil images. Make a lot of sense.
Where else, I mean, everybody out there who's watching, like, where else have we seen these images before? You know what I thought of when that perfume bottle one? I thought it was an air humidifier.
Well, it could be anything. It's kind of a spritzer. And so it could be spritzing
Okay.
perfume. It could be spritzing ionic mist. It could, whatever.
Yeah, right, whatever.
It's just a pretty way to sort of hydrate the environment is how I see that. All right. These.
Did you, no, so I'll ask you later. I was going to say, did you get to see Sean while you were back there?
I didn't see Sean. Sean moved to Rockford.
I know. I'm so excited for him.
So I didn't get to see him, but I did get to see Carolyn and I did get to see Lori, and it was so great. So great. And I'm just kind of second coating some of the ones I want to be especially dark. Come back in with this one. This one. And do you see how this is kind of coming together?
Yes, I do.
Just
I've stopped trying to follow along, so I'm just watching yours now, and I'm just really hoping for the same effect.
Just layering your paints. Not really blending.
And if you use a very little amount of paint, it'll dry faster.
That too. All right. Just going through to see if there's anything else I want to be this color. Now we're going to grab our darker brown. This was our violet plus yellow. And again, this is this kind of, it's sort of a taupey gray.
Mm-hmm.
And anywhere you see your darkest browns, we're going to drop this guy in. So right here. Right here. Along here. Along here.
Lori's chatting a little bit about her vacation and how she got to see you, and she said you guys talked for time. You talked about time for art the whole time.
There's a lot of time for art talk.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to tell you this, Hershey, like they've got us down. Like,
what do you mean?
They can do us well, our time for art subscribers. Do
they do impersonations of us?
I wouldn't call it an impersonation. I mean, maybe you could say that, but it just are what we say and what we're giving off. It's going.
New template challenge. I gotta see videos uploaded to the Facebook page of people doing what they think they could. Like, I gotta see this.
It was really great. But it's getting absorbed, and that's why the work is so incredible. Everyone hang with us for a little while.
They'll start talking like us.
They'll start talking like us.
That's hilarious.
True story. Lori made an original painting for her husband for their anniversary, I believe.
How sweet.
Yeah. And I haven't seen it yet.
You know, I don't know, Allison, if you like, because you've been doing art since you were very little.
Yeah.
And, you know, I just want to commend Caroline for taking the time to learn art and just to study art and whatnot, but then also to value her own art so much that she would give it to someone as a gift like that, as her husband would, you know, like at her husband on her anniversary. Lori, sorry, thank you.
Lori did this, yes.
I think that is just, it's so awesome. Commendable. So awesome. Congratulations, Lori. I can't wait to see what you gave to your husband for your anniversary. That's awesome.
Yes. You don't
You
have
know,
to
last
go
month,
to a group. We just want to see it.
yeah, right. And last month I gave my mom a gift for Mother's Day, but that was because I didn't know what else to get her.
And she loved it, right?
I mean, you know, yeah. She took it home with her.
It's no longer here.
Right. All I got to say about it.
All right. So we've got our darks in now. And I'm just looking to see. This was kind of a quick one, right?
Yeah, it is.
Just kind of came together.
And I certainly didn't think it would be.
Right? It's always a surprise. So I'm just going to look and see where I really want to hit some darker darks. And I want kind of second coat. So I'm going to kind of hit this one with a green. These like this. This one. Like that. So like that.
You know, as easy as this drawing and painting has been of bamboo, I was looking up the care instructions for bamboo are not so easy.
You know, that's funny because I had my lucky bamboo in a window in a college dorm room and it was ginormous. You just kept it wet.
Well, so that according to the internet, you must, you know, the internet who's let me down already once today. You must filter the water. You have to replace the water. And you need proper drainage.
Yeah, none of that happened in Oxford, Ohio. I
was gonna say that doesn't sound like a dorm room at all.
But this is, I also have a theory that if you want plants to live, you need to get them from places like Trader Joe's, where that came from, or like my plants on my porch are from IKEA.
Why those stores?
And well, because if they can grow in an IKEA basement or in a grocery store.
They've already made it.
They've already made it. And so, all right. So the same thing I'm going to do here, and just anywhere I want a little bit more opacity, I'm going to hit with a little bit of this. Just like that. And especially with this technique, you don't really know what it's going to look like until it dries. It's the case with all acrylic paint, but certainly here.
Turned out really good, Al. You got real precision hands with those small brushes.
I've had a lot of practice. I don't know how to type this. All right, and then last but not least, we're going to go back to our original yellow we mixed. If you don't have this left anymore, it is medium yellow with a touch of violet and white. And we're going to add more white to it.
Like we did just on Monday night.
Yes. More white to it, just like this. We're going to loosen this up a little because this is, if we went in with this really like full body paint, it would look kind of weird on a really watery, kind of effervescent painting we have going on.
Yeah.
And this is going to be what we highlight with. And Hershey and I were talking about how kind of home decor and trends in that before we started. And I feel like this would look really beautiful.
Yeah, this one goes on the wall for sure.
Yeah. So you can rip it out or not.
Allison, one more question or another question for the comment section. Lori would like to know, she said, are you using the other side of your brush?
What do you mean? Like
the hard end that doesn't have bristles.
I am not, but you certainly can try.
I do it all the time, Lori. And it's usually to correct a mistake.
Yeah, good. Awesome. And then with this, we are just going to paint in kind of the highlights that we see. So like right in here. Do you see how fun that looks, Hershey?
Yeah, I do.
Right here.
Highlighting, baby.
Again, always kind of do less because it'll start looking really cool. And then you'll over highlight it and you'll be like, so.
That's really cool. What if you were going to paint this with a colored background? What is like, what's the complementary of green is red, but I don't know if the red would look good back behind there.
Maybe like a soft pink. It would kind of look like a Hawaiian shirt, maybe.
Ooh, okay.
Or a blue.
Mm-hmm.
Or more green, because it could be sort of like a soft green, and then this is just more in definition. So it'd be like a depth of field kind of thing.
Personally, I think you were right on the money with that first one.
What did I say, pink?
Pink, yep.
So just like that. In here. Right in here. And then our highlight will be a little bit different in the leaves because they're kind of a different color.
Will it have more green in it?
It'll have more, exactly.
I'm so excited to see these stories that people come up with for the template challenge.
Yes.
I have definitely stopped keeping up. I cannot. You did that so fast.
Yeah, this one, you never know when they're just going to kind of come together. And I know we've said this before, but I had a sewing instructor that would recommend a certain pattern when you were learning. And she goes, it's the Rice Krispie treat dress. It just comes together. And this one's kind of a Rice Krispie treat one. It just kind of.
When you're building the colors up from the bottom, out of nowhere, the painting just comes to life. You know, that you add that last layer and boom.
So I'm second coating these just so that it doesn't look, it's more opaque. Takes a little of the wobble out.
The yellows, the yellow that you have there, I'm really going to try to work on having that yellow really contrast with that green on mine.
Yeah. And then the highlight I want to get here is really the one that shows right here. So it's going to be like this green plus white. Kind of a mix between these two. So I'm going to kind of.
Will you move it over to the right, just or left? I'm sorry, just.
Or just pick it up. So this was kind of the combination of these. So I want these to kind of be, so this was just yellow and green, different varieties.
Yeah.
And I'm going to add some white to this. We're going to highlight. We're going to highlight with this. And it's just in a few places. So like, right.
It's a real liney, that green, yeah?
Really liney. Right in here. Right in here. Just anywhere you see this really light tone. And it's little variations, like acknowledging that the shoots are more yellow and the leaves are more green, and sticking to that. It's kind of a hack, like the kids say. Like it's something that makes your paintings look a little bit more polished, that we didn't just use the same yellow of the shoots.
Whatever, yeah.
That's that we acknowledge that that's a different color. And if you see, you can still see your lines, but certainly less. And so I think we'll just kind of go through how this is like, we went through it before, but just how the schedule is going to be next week.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to draw the Monstera. And on Wednesday, we're going to paint the Monstera. And then on
what day is that?
Monday?
The following Monday would be the 20th.
The 20th, we are going to draw the lotus, and then we're going to paint the lotus on the following Wednesday, and then it's
and then that Friday after that last Wednesday, or that Friday is when all the template challenges are due.
Is when all the template challenges are due.
And then that following Monday is June 27th, and please nobody do anything, but it's also my birthday. I love when people make a big deal about my birthday.
But don't do anything. Don't worry about it. It's my favorite day of the year. Don't worry about it. Yeah. All right. And then I'm just going to go in with the little bit of the darker green that I had mixed up. And this was green and violet and a little bit of the brown that we made. And just anywhere I want kind of a harder dark line.
Yeah, it feels like there might be a little bit of shadow in there, but mostly it's just variation in the color of the bamboo.
Right.
What'd you say that was called? True color or?
Local color.
Local color, thank you.
Local color is what the object would be without light and shadow. And just to debunk that idea, it would be nothing without light and shadow. It'd be in a black hole.
Amen, amen.
But everybody gets the idea. All right, and I think I'm going to call that one done.
Are you going to sign it?
I'm going to sign it with my pencil because I feel like anything bigger with our Lucy paint. There we go.
All right.
We're ending a little bit early tonight. Sometimes we end a little bit late. Again, our template challenge is tell a story. And it could be really cool. We've got like the yoga poses and the objects and there's so many stories.
So many.
You can use text, all good things. And and
real quick too, I want to say Al that points for creativity in the story told, not just the yeah. Mm-hmm.
And we always, we round it, we round up. So whatever you come up with is awesome. Use your templates, and I'm going to post this to the comments. We would love to see this in the group, in the subscriber group. So if you could share it with us, that would be great. And thanks for making art with us. And
we'll see you on the 13th.
We'll see you on the 13th. Take care, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Bye.